Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver and online. We now conduct hybrid services at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center and Sacred Place, located at 216 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. All are welcomed here. A place, space, and face of love. We are a spiritual community practicing universal principles that enrich our lives. We are grateful that you have blessed us with your presence. While online, we'd love to know you're watching with us. Feel free to leave a comment and let everyone appreciate you. With everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. CSL Denver wants you to know we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for personal prayer work. Our licensed spiritual practitioners' names and phone numbers are available on our website at csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, feel free to email it to info@csldenver.org. For your convenience, you'll find clickable links in the description of this broadcast. Rev Elzia, along with all our guest speakers, practitioners, service coordinators, and musical inspirations, want you to know how truly grateful we are that you are with us today. Thank you for your continued support and participation in our services, workshops, and events, as well as providing financial contributions to our center. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Sign up by visiting www.csldenver.org. We deliver services in a hybrid format where we meet in person at 216 South Grant Street. We will also continue to live stream all services on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday. Find us on our respective channels as well as on New Thought Media Network. Again, thank you for your precious attention. Now prepare for engaging enlightenment.
There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. I would like to invite us to move into an invocation. So if you're comfortable, please sit back in your chairs and close your eyes. And just move into that space and that place that is always here. We are just turning our attention to it right here, right now. Knowing that the divine is holding us, loving us, breathing us, as we move into this service, and knowing that this service is so truly blessed with Reverend Elzia's words, with my reading, with Susan Clark's music, with all that it took to make our service go smoothly and easily as we know that it is, and just knowing that we are also truly blessed. And I am so grateful for this teaching, for the Center for Spiritual Living Denver, and for each beloved person who has chosen to be here in person or online, just knowing that we are all in the right place where we need to be. And from that place of deep, deep gratitude, I release this in that one mind and one heart, knowing that all is well, and it is so, and so it is. So my reading this morning is from the Science Mind magazine this month, and we have 2 left over there. So if you are interested, it's the daily guides, and they're just really great. The one this month is by Reverend Christine Green. I could feel my not enoughness popping up. My old beliefs resurfaced. I am not enough. I can't have what I want, and I shouldn't be asking for that anyway, blah, blah, blah. Do you ever have those days? I am grateful that I know what to do. I go to my meditation chair where I sit in peace. I breathe and I quiet my mind. I become the observer watching old criticism and judgments pop up. My practice is to resist the temptation to engage and build a story around them. In his book, The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer writes, if you sit within the self, you will experience the strength of your inner being. I would keep my finger here. And let's see, In his book, The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer writes, if you sit within the self, you will experience the strength of your inner being, even when your heart feels weak. This is the essence of a spiritual life. Once you learn that it's okay to feel inner disturbance and that they can no longer disturb your seat of consciousness, you will be free. As I breathe in peace, I realize those thoughts have no power over me. The old programming, what if, I have to, I should, begin to quiet down. I bless them and let them go. My breath is the divine circulation of reception and release. In this constantly changing and shifting world, committing the time and discipline to do our practice can be challenging. But the more we practice, the more we see it as essential to our well-being. When you have tasted the inner energy flow, Singer writes, you can walk in this world and the world will never touch you. And from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, from his book, Richer Living, the consciousness that walked over the troubled waters of human experience, the inner calm that stilled the tempest, is accessible to everyone. And now let's hear some music from Susan Clark singing Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield.
Hello, CSL Denver. Susan Clark with you once again to provide some music for your service. I also want to extend a special welcome to those of you who might be watching us either now or later online. We appreciate you being with us as well. I'm going to do a song for you that was performed by Natasha Bedingfield. And I think if you're of a certain age, which I am certainly of that certain age and beyond, you will remember this song. It's called Unwritten. beginning, the pen's in my hands, in vain unplanned, staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, suppose you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Tradition, sometimes my tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Thank you.
Good morning, and welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love, a spiritual community teaching ancient wisdom and utilizing principles that empower our life and the lives of others. We're so grateful that you're here today as we continue our monthly theme of the power of uncertainty. And today, I think we hit the crux of the matter, and that is the power of discernment. The power of discernment. So if it feels comfortable, close your eyes or just lower your gaze as we set the container to receive these words. With open hearts and receptive minds, we attune ourselves to the guidance that surrounds us all. That inner knowingness, that spirit that allows us to arise to any occasion. And so in that idea, in that understanding, may every thought we have today move us in the direction of wholeness. May every word spoken be anchored in truth. And may every action we take be a conscious guide to stepping on the path of one. And as we affirm this, we stand clearly in the current of the universal flow of knowledge, of wisdom, of love, of all things that allow us to open our hearts and be true to who we are. Understanding that there is one life, that life is our life, and that life is our life now, and so it is. Amen. And so this morning, as we look at this idea of discernment, I would like to say that no matter where you are, no matter where you look, no matter where you find yourself, we are surrounded by noise. Did I say that? Let me say it again. We are surrounded by noise. And that noise appears in many different ways, in opinions, in podcasts, and in someone else's attitude, and all of the things that distract us from ourselves. It is said that roughly every day we make 35,000 decisions every day. 35,000 decisions every day. And the real question becomes, how many of the answers are yours? Or have we been swept up, wrapped up, caught up in all of the noise and distraction that is going on around us? Because we live in a world now where information and knowledge appears to be more valuable than wisdom. But I'm here to suggest that information and knowledge are like Legos. They're just little things that you can put together to make anything. But at the core, they're still little plastic boxes with holes in them. But when you look at it from a point of wisdom, now you begin to see the oneness of all the signs and shapes and colors of the Lego, and you are able to create a masterpiece. A masterpiece. And so when we think about the decisions we make every day, I think we need to take a step back and ask the question, when we do, are we doing it from a place of judgment or a place of discernment? Because oftentimes people think that they're synonyms, but they're not. Judgment, when I make a judgment, it is absolutely positively rooted in my own ego, my own prejudice, my own bias. And so I'm judging from that perspective. But when I'm in discernment, now we are on another course altogether. Discernment is this. Discernment is the ability to recognize, grasp, and comprehend what is obscure, what is unseen. And it's based in awareness, intuition, and openness. Now think about that. Awareness, intuition, and openness. Now, the last time you made a judgment, just kind of close your eyes and think in your mind when you made a judgment. Were any of those things present? Were you open? Were you aware of not just your feelings, your thoughts, your idiosyncrasies? And intuition. That's a thing that's dead today almost. Did you lean into your intuition? Because there's the connection between the unseen, the opaque, that cannot be always picked up by our five senses, but it's always available. Always available. And when we have found ourselves leaning into that information, and oftentimes it happens, at least for me, when I'm at wit's end. For me, it's like one or the other. When I'm at wit's end, when I done used all my judgment and it ain't working, or I am just scared out of my wits and I'm like, Lord, I have to surrender. Now, I don't want to surrender because my ego says, I can do it. I've been to college and I work a job and raised a family. I've done all these things that's supposed to make me fortified. But when we're able to surrender and be open, the intuition drops in. And then it becomes another point where we have to choose between judgment and discernment. Because oftentimes intuition shows up and what we do? We judge it. Oh, that can't be true. That can't happen to me. That happened to somebody else. They always get the prizes. I always get the boo-boo prize. So this intuition thing that's telling me it's going to be all right, just take another step, does not happen unless we are open. Unless we are open. And so if I had to frame what discernment was and the power that it brings, I would say this. Discernment is a spiritual technology, a pattern of listening, a practice of alignment, and a willingness to pause before I move. Now, that's hard in a place where there's none but noise. You are feeling compelled to make a decision to move right now. Even though intuition, awareness, and openness is telling you clear as day, don't you step into that traffic. Even though the car looks like it's not coming, or you think you can cross the street, stop, take a pause. And what discernment is not, and this is how we get trapped sometimes. Discernment is not overthinking. It's not fear disguised as caution. I'm going to say that one again, because I'm sure everybody got a dose of that fear as caution. We try to be prudent. We try to show how smart we are. Oh, no, I'm just being cautious. But you are scared to death. Ain't got nothing to do with caution. And so when we can figure that out, then we realize that endless collections of opinions and information and waiting for perfect conditions will never happen. Because as soon as you get the bucket full of information, guess what? You already know what I'm going to say. It's done changed. It's changed. And if you're waiting for the perfect day, forget that. Last Wednesday, or 2 Wednesdays ago, we had 8 inches of snow. This past Wednesday, we had 90 degrees. Now, if you're trying to make a judgment based on the Wednesday before, you would have been in big trouble this Wednesday. You'd have had your coat on and your galoshes on, and it would have been a problem. Discernment is a spiritual technology of listening and aligning and being aware of what's going on. It comes sometime when we look at spiritual facility that allows us to distinguish between truth and facts. Truth and facts. A little different. Because facts will tell me that the Legos is a Harry Potter castle, or whatever someone has been able to create in their mind. But the truth of the matter is, if I got a box of Legos, there are infinite possibilities within that box. It's not Harry Potter's house or castle or school or whatever it is. There's infinite possibilities. So I have to lean on the truth that we live in a world where the divine creative mind of God says there are infinite possibilities available to you, and they're available to you right now. Not tomorrow, not last week, not 10 years from now. They are available to you right now, but you have to be in a discerning mind, not judging by all of the things that's going on around you, all of the noise that's being made, and lose your way. I'll teach you by Dr. Ernest Holmes says this: our spiritual teaching states that there is one mind, and that is the mind, and that mind is available to us in intuition, guidance, and spiritual knowing. Intuition, guidance, and spiritual knowing. And bring that slide up, because that's where I want to go with Dr. Holmes. He says, he teaches us that we must see through the appearances that appear through the appearances to the reality behind it. Discernment is the capacity to look beyond conditions and perceive principle. Perceive principle. One of the things that we stand on is principle. And of course, one of my favorite ideas of principle to lean into this discernment where we have infinite possibilities is the principle of electricity. Electricity is essential, but we can get it in many different ways. Solar, thermal, hydro, turbo, fossil fuel, solar. I mean, there are many different ways to achieve the principle of electricity. All of them have some things in common, but each one has its own individual, unique discernment of what it needs to have in place to create that electricity. The same is true with each one of us in our lives. If we can live on principle, then we can find the different law that will be extracted from that principle when we find ourselves in certain situations. If I've been using hydro for electricity and I find myself in the desert, I'm in trouble. There's no water in the desert. I got to be able to take that principle and switch it to solar so that I can get the same thing in a different situation by discerning and being aware of what's present. Being aware of what's present. So to learn discernment, we learn that principle rather than forcing judgment becomes a key thing to learn. Now that's hard in an educated, sophisticated world. Because from the time we can learn to talk, we're taught to be your own person and to lean into your teachings and all these things that, quite frankly, can get you in a whole lot of trouble. I know, well, let me say, it has gotten me in a whole lot of trouble, thinking that my whatevers have prepared me for the world. But what I found out, they have prepared me to be still and observant and with the hardest and most in tune tuition to listen. To listen. Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 16 says this: trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. I just tell you not to get the information and get the facts and all of that. But when you want to turn that into wisdom and understanding, then you lean into the Lord. The one who sees all, hears all, and knows exactly where the Lego piece goes. Knows exactly where that piece goes. And First James chapter verse 5 says this: if any of you lack wisdom, you got all this information. If you lack wisdom, then you need to ask God. You need to ask the creative mind of the universe, I got all this stuff. What do I do with it? That's when you can take the Lego box and create Harry Potter and the Death Star and all these different things that they make with these Legos now. When I was growing up playing with Legos, we just made, I don't know, boxes. Bigger and bigger boxes. You know, box in a box in a box. Now, they make racing cars and tulips and Harry Potter houses. I don't know. Infinite possibilities with the same material. Lean not into your own understanding. And when you can't figure it out, ask God. Because discernment says this: facts are temporary, truth is eternal. Facts say there is a storm, but truth says there's a lighthouse. Discernment is the spiritual eye that sees the path even when the fog is really thick. And Howard Thurman, if you're not familiar with Howard Thurman, please get to know Howard Thurman. He's out of Morehouse College. He was one of the teachers of Dr. King. He said this: there is something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine. Cultivate the discipline of listening to the sound of genuine in yourself. Just listen. Now, I know that's hard with all the noise. We have to figure out a way to, I'd see sometime now go to the football games and I see the babies, the parents got the babies with them great big old earphone things on. Maybe we need to get a pair of them. I don't know. So that we can block out all this other noise and we can listen. But whatever we need to do to listen, we are asked to listen now more than ever. More than ever, because if we don't, we'll be lost. Quite frankly, we'll be lost. And Viktor Frankl, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Viktor Frankl and Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor said this: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Now, Viktor Frankl was in a concentration camp. And for him, these weren't just idle words to him. I'm sure every moment of silence for him was like an infinite world of possibilities opening up to give him strength, to give him guidance, not to lean on his own judgment, because if he leaned on his judgment, he would have thought, I'm a goner. I'm done for. But that's not what he looked at. He looked at those moments between the moments to figure this out, to step into it. And so I'm going to give you 3 tools to help us do exactly what Viktor did, to step into that moment. The first one is to separate the signal from the noise. Separate the signal from the noise. There is always, they say, that clarion call from the divine. Just a little, you ever go to a meditation, they got the little bell and it goes ding. And it sounds kind of loud at first, but then it reverberates out. But even there's that little hinge, that little vibration that keeps going. That's what we do. And so William James, philosopher, psychologist, William James said this: the art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook. What to overlook. So when you can tune yourself to the signal and block out the noise, now I know what to overlook. I know what to attune to. I know what to align with. And now I give myself an opportunity. I give myself an opportunity because uncertainty creates emotional static. Now, this whole month is talking about uncertainty. And we know in that it creates static in your thinking, in your body, in your responses. And discernment in that situation, there's that thing now. It's your ultimate superpower. People are going to say, what's your superpower? Well, discernment is your superpower. Now, you may have 2 or 3, but I'm telling you that your primary superpower is the power of discernment, because we're made in the image and likeness of the Most High God, who has created. I'll be here all week trying to tell y'all what he created or what she created. From the created thing, just as an example, we came from gas clouds to AI. Go figure that out. How we get from gas clouds to AI? But that's the power of discernment of the divine. And when we can tap into it, we can block out the noise, step into the signal, we get that, because discernment functions like a high-powered filter. It can separate. Right now, a big thing is getting you a good water filter, right? To separate all the prefabs and this fob and that, and all the things that we have added to the water. Well, discernment creates a filter just like those water filters to sift out all of that stuff that's not healthy, does not give us the impetus to grow, and allows the chaos, as the story goes in the Bible, it says, be still and know. That's what happens. The second thing that we have to really lean into embracing possibilities over certainty. Embracing possibilities over certainty. There's this by Annie Duke. This is an interesting young lady here. She says, we must learn to look at the world not as a done deal, but as a series of probabilities. Now, I want to take a minute just here for old Annie, because Annie was something else. Annie grew up in Concord, Massachusetts. She went to Columbia University. She got a degree in English and psychology. She was working towards her PhD in cognitive linguistics. Say that real fast and try to figure that out. And 1 month before her defense of her dissertation, she quit. She quit. And know what she did? She became a professional poker player. She became a professional poker player and won the coveted poker player bracelet, and I don't know, won $2-3 million. Discernment. She, after all that, now if any of you have even ever thought about getting a PhD or even a thesis from a school, a master's from a school that requires you to get a thesis that kind of preps you for that further work, you know it takes a lot of effort and energy and numbers and all of that to get that PhD. And to get there, but 1 month before the defense, that means you've done all the research, you've done all the writing, and you're just prepping. What kind of discernment must she have had to walk away from that, to go play poker, and then become a world champion in poker, and then in 2022, go back and finish that PhD. Go back and finish that PhD. Discernment. Not looking at judgment about what they're going to say. I've spent all this money. Everybody going to talk. Yada, 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 yada. She leaned into her own discernment and intuition and said, I'm out. And most people probably looked at her and said, she has lost her mind. She's at Columbia, very expensive school. She's been there to go through a PhD and a master's. That means she's been there probably 6 at the very, 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 very minimum, but more likely 8 to 10 years doing this. And she just walked away. She walked away. But what she knew was this. She was not looking for a 100% guarantee in a certain world. She was calculating the probabilities and the possibilities of what could be. And she walked. She took the step. She took the step. She became immersed in the game of poker, open, listening to the intuition, and most importantly, she began to be aware of her poker players. You know, if you play poker, if you've seen any of these, you see everybody got a poker tail, right? They got a tail when they got a good hand or when they got a bad hand. Now, if I'm trying to judge that, that might be a problem. But if I'm leaning on discernment, I know every time he get a good hand, he scratches his eyebrow. Because I've seen him and I've watched him over time and I've watched the pattern and I've said, ooh, I'm going to fold right now because I know he got something. He's scratching that eye. But now when he ain't got nothing, he rubs his chin. So I'm going all in. I'm pushing all the chips in. That's how we got to be about life. We have to learn how to discern from all the noise and all the distractions and all the podcasts and news reels and God knows whatever else they put out there, and discern what's going on. And the only way we can do that is you got to be in the game. You can't be on the sideline talking about, you got to move this. No. You ain't on the field of play. Get in the game and see what happens. When we do that, we learn discernment. And once we gotten to that part, the last thing is this. We turn our intuition into a compass. We turn our intuition to a compass because when all of the things that we can see are bad, the compass will get us there. Albert Einstein said this: the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and forgets the gift. Forgets the gift. We need that gift. Think about when you get your gift for the present, for your birthday or holiday or whatever. There is so much excitement and joy and zeal for life. But if you're dealing with something that's like a servant is like work, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this servant thing, this work thing. That's the difference. It's all a gift. It's all a gift. And so discernment isn't just cold logic. It's the intersection of deep experience and intuition. The intersection of deep wisdom, experience, and intuition. Because when we live in a wholeness, a world that is whole, there is no separation. So there's an intersection with everything. Everything is intersecting everything. We have to be still and know. We have to be still and look. And then the answer becomes clear. It's a willingness to show up and be seen when you can't control the outcome is what makes you step into that moment. When you can't control the outcome. I want to end with this story. This is a true story. And some of you may know it. It's about the race to the South Pole. The race to the South Pole. This was back in like 1911, 1910. And I want to get the names wrong. There was Ronald Amundsen and Robert Falcon Scott. They were racing to the South Pole. And Scott had all of the newfangled things for 1911 to take his crew to the South Pole. But what Ronald did, Ronald went and stayed a while with the Inuit Indian Native American tribe to figure out how I get to the South Pole safely and back. And they told him, got to get you some good dogs, get you a good sled. You don't go more than 20 miles a day, regardless of the weather, good weather, bad weather. You go 20 miles a day and you'll get there safely. Whereas Scott had all the new things and he was not disciplined. He didn't have a pattern. And so they both got to the South Pole, but only Ronald and his crew came back. Scott and his crew was not as successful coming back. And what it is, Scott relied heavily on unproven technology, motorized ski sleds, but the wisdom of the people who lived in that area, who understood the patterns, who knew the intricate parts of how to live in that environment, said he could have all the information and facts he wants. This wisdom will get you there and back. And so this lesson reminds us, it didn't eliminate the uncertainty of going there and back because anything could happen. But what it did do, it allowed him to use his discernment to filter out how to navigate the waters, or the ice waters, if you will. And so when we are able to do that, to filter out the noise, don't force things, lean into our intuition, find the alignment and flow with it, we're able to take our team anywhere and back safely. And so uncertainty is a permanent feature in the human condition. It is not going away. But as we walk out of here today, remember Ronald Amundsen, do not wait for the weather to be perfectly clear before you take your task. Refine your vision, filter out the noise, trust your preparation, and let your discernment be your compass that guides you through the fog and back home again safely. And so it is. Let us pray. So, dear Mother, Father God, that dual aspect of life that creates a wholeness, that creates a oneness, that allows us to understand the intersection of up and down and left and right and in and out and all the things that, if we use judgment, pits those two things against each other. But as we lean into the everlasting arm of the divine, we realize that there is a different aspect of the one thing that creates that wholeness, that allows us to tap into unseen wisdom and intuition that allows us to move easily and effortlessly through this thing called life. And so as we begin to hone our discernment and lean into not our own understanding, but the understanding of an infinite mind that creates worlds, we begin to allow ourselves to relax and not be in fear and not be tensed and to be open for the infinite possibilities. And so right here, right now, in this very moment, I know and I declare for everyone here, everyone that's listening online, and anyone that may be listening later, that we are beacons of understanding, that we are conduits for the divine, and that we are allowing that wisdom, understanding, truth to signal out from us, to guide ourselves, to guide our friends, to help those in need, so that we can filter out the noise and listen for that clarion call, that signal that brings us home. And so it is in that idea of listening for the divine signal to get that beacon, and as they say, so that we can get beam me board, Scotty. We know that that is true with the divine mind of God. And so we give thanks for this idea, for this understanding, for this moment to be clear in who we are. And we release it, we let it go, and we know that it is absolutely so. And so it is. Amen. And so there's a call to action as always. The first one, pick one, pick three, pick two, but definitely pick one. The first one is identify one decision this week where you will choose principle over preference. The second one, each day this week, take one moment of stillness and truly listen, then write down what you hear. The third one, each day this week, as you go through your day making decisions, ask yourself, am I acting from truth or fear? And what is the universal principle beneath this situation? Pick one, pick all, but do pick something, because we have to practice this. We have to look for the patterns. And so the affirmation to hone this in for the week is, I listen beneath the noise of the world, and I am guided by infinite wisdom. And so it is. And so we want to thank you for being here today. It is now that time of sacred giving. And we appreciate all that you give, whether it's in your time, treasure, or talents. And there are many different ways to give. You can go to the website and hit the donate button. You can text to give. You can give in the center, or you can send an old-fashioned money order or check to the P.O. box. But however you do, please give. And if it feels comfortable, we repeat our affirmation. Place your hand over your heart to anchor this idea of law of circulation, if you will. This perfect gift is spirit informed, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive, and so it is. Amen. And so now Alice is going to come and give us some announcements, and we thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Elzia. Great talk. Trust my discernment more this week. We still have a couple of our May-June Science Mind magazines. They are, it's a bi-monthly magazine, and it's $10. And we've also got a bunch of free ones. So if you want to just see what, they've got some wonderful articles in there. And then they have daily guides, which are really nice if you just want a nice thing to something to kind of get you centered starting off each day or even in the evening. So help yourself. We've got some articles and prayer request forms. If you have a prayer that you need to have, that you want some support with, then you can fill out a prayer request form and we'll be there for you. Today, right after service, we're having our Divine Dialogue, which is where we have some refreshments and then we circle up the chairs and we have a discussion. We were going to be talking about prosperity today, but Bob is in the hospital, so we can talk about prosperity or discernment or whatever we want to talk about. And next week is our community cafe. The fourth Sunday of every month, we have we keep the table set up. We bring in food to share, and this coming next week is Teresa is going to be doing hers on The Gods Are Crazy, the transformative language of archetypes and symbols. So that promises to just be a really great time. Teresa always has such a wonderful way with her workshops. Let's see. So it's like she'll blend Jungian archetypes and symbols through a modern fairy tale, which will enable our participants to recognize and identify symbols and archetypes within the story to explore unconscious patterns, self-awareness, and personal growth. And like I said, we meet every fourth Sunday, and we don't have a talk. We just have our, like I said, we bring food and share and have a wonderful community experience. So please join us, and it will not be recorded. So it's, you know, it's live and in person. Let's see. And our Curiosity Corner, we have some new books and some mandala coloring books and stuff like that. Over at this side is our regular community or Curiosity Corner, and over here is our bargain basement. Everything over here is $1. Everything there, they've got some prices with books and stuff like that. So please take a look at that. And we are so blessed to have New Thought Media Network and Diego as our Sunday service producer. We invite you to go to www.ntmedia.org and check out what they have. There's something for everyone. And we are so truly blessed by everyone who has chosen to support CSL Denver by showing up on Sundays or watching our services online. We know that as we move through the rest of the year, the Divine Beloved is guiding and loving each and every one of us. Thank you for joining us, and let's close out with Karen Drucker singing I'm So Grateful.
Hey, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey, oh yeah, grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. So grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am so grateful. Hey, grateful. I just come up.